18. You're entering CNBC TV 18's Fire Safe Studio, powered by Century Ply, now with firewall technology.
Hi, good morning and welcome to Power Breakfast. In the Mumbai News Center, I'm Pavitra Parekh. Let's get started as always by running you through our top headlines. Flat close for Wall Street in the overnight session. All eyes are on the US jobs report due tomorrow. Asia is mostly higher in early trade. India's COVID caseload drops by 38% in the last 4 weeks as daily infections continue to decline. Tamil Nadu, Odisha and Assam are the only states seeing a sharp rise in cases. Daily death toll is still above 3,000. The Supreme Court orders the centre to review its vaccine policy, says it has serious doubt on the centre's justification that allowing higher prices would attract more players. Asked why the centre cannot use its ability to command lower prices and acquire all the vaccines being produced. Reliance Industries releases its annual report, shows it is well poised with liquidity to drive digital, retail and O2C businesses. The plan to reorganize the O2C biz by end 2021 and induct investors is also on track. But what stands out are the significant achievements in developing COVID test kits and drugs, and these are likely avenue for new growth. Okay, those are all of the headlines that we're tracking this morning. But quickly, let me run you through the global market action. We'll start off with Asia, and it's looking like quite a good start for the Asian markets. Japan currently 140 points in the green, so it's around 0.5% higher. Hang Seng also managing to hold up quite well, around 25 points in the green. Shanghai seeing just some minor gains at the start. The other Asian markets will also come up for you, so it's actually looking good across the board for Asia. Straits, Taiwan and Kospi are up for you. Kospi is 0.8% higher, so definitely looking quite good there. Taiwan and Straits also around 0.3 to around 0.5% higher as well. Take a look at the SGX Nifty. That's indicating a good start for our own markets as well. We're currently 76 points higher on the SGX Nifty. Remember, we did see quite a recovery come through yesterday and we ended flat, largely of course because of Reliance, but the SGX right now indicating a good start for our markets. So let's see if we are able to build on those gains. That's what's happening in the Asian markets. Let's also talk about the US markets now. Wall Street finished the day with mild gains. So the Dow pushed on around 22 points. The S&P was up around 8 and the Nasdaq ended 20 points in the green. CNBC Seema Modi gets us a wrap of all of the action on Wall Street.
U.S. markets finishing the day higher with the S&P 500 hovering near a record high. The Dow adding 22 points, the S&P up 8, and the Nasdaq tacking on about 19 points. Shares of AMC capturing the attention of Wall Street, finishing the day nearly 100% higher after triggering several trading halts throughout the day due to its high volume movement. A whopping 700 million shares changed hands. That's roughly 5 times its 30-day average. This marks the theater chain's second highest volume day ever. And the world's largest meat processor, JBS, resuming most of its production after a massive cyber attack this past weekend. The company notified the federal government that the ransom demand came from Revi, a ransomware group believed to operate in Russia. And Maryland, now the 25th state planning to terminate federal unemployment programs early. Now, all but 2 Republican-led states are ending benefits before the official September 6th expiration date. The decision expected to affect at least 3.7 million people, according to a CNBC analysis. Those affected will lose $300 weekly supplement. That's the action from the U.S. market. Back to you in Mumbai.
All right, Seema, thanks a lot for getting us all of that action. That's sort of the global market action that we're tracking, but how will all of these overnight cues impact our own market? We have our research team joining in to tell you exactly that and to prep you up for this trading session. Ekta, Nupur and Nigel join me now. Hi guys, a very good morning to all of you. Ekta, let me come to you first. We did see quite a sharp recovery come through towards the end of the trading session. Take us through what we should watch out for today.
Well, in terms of what took place, there was a sharp recovery that we saw in Reliance Industries and banks, which really helped the Sensex and the Nifty, which ended flat yesterday. So they did recover from the lows, 399 points odd for the Sensex and around 116 odd points for the Nifty. The mid-caps outperformed the frontliners yesterday with the index up around 1.4% to posting a record close. FII's net bought around 921 odd crores, DII's net bought around 242 odd crores. Well, in terms of today's trading session, and overall we could probably see some amount of intermittent profit booking, but the overall sentiment for the markets remains intact simply because of the COVID-19 cases receding, as well as hopes of a good monsoon now coming into play. US markets muted close, Asia largely higher right now, SGX indicating a positive start, and crude prices continue to be at 2-year highs, so that's something to watch out for. Other cues: Reliance Industries reaction to the annual report takeaways, weekly options expiry, not much in terms of results, but watch out for APL, Apollo Tubes, Arvind Fashion, Quest Corp, and overall commodity prices. As I just mentioned, Brent crude at 2-year highs, RBI monetary policy tomorrow, and accommodative stance is expected to continue, so the street would watch out for cues from that as well.
All right, Ekta, thanks a lot for bringing us all of those cues. Let's also talk stocks now, and we have Nupur with that entire list. Nupur, Ekta did briefly mention Reliance, so let's start with that.
Well, let me start with the Reliance, and we have seen big gains coming on that stock in last few days. Now, Reliance has released its FY21 annual report and says O2C segment will be put out separate as a separate entity in this current calendar year 2021. And when it comes to COVID, company has developed diagnostic kits R Green and R Green Pro for COVID detection, and also submitted application for one of the potential drugs against COVID-19. A detailed link coming up in a bit, but these were the highlights. Moving on to then positive news coming in for sugar stock as India brings forward a target of 20% ethanol blending to 2023. Do you remember this year the target was brought forward to 2025 versus 2030. Do you remember this will increase the requirement of ethanol from 400 liters to 1000 liters to mix up to blend to 20% target. FD acquisition news coming in from Rossari Biotech, where company to acquire 100% equity of Unitop Chemicals for a consideration of 421 crores. Tata Power Solar receives EPC order for over 680 crore from NTPC to set up solar PVC pipes. From Earnings Corner, keep an eye on MTAR Tech, where company reports very strong operational performance, margins more than doubles in Q4. But not the same with Panacea Biotech, where YOY numbers look steady with revenues up 34%, but big declines coming on margins sequentially. And lastly, keep an eye on Motherson Sumi, Ramakrishna Forging and Bharat Forge. A Class 8 truck in the month of May was down 32% compared to April, so not looking so good on that. Back to you.
All right, Nupur, thanks a lot for that. We will keep all of these stocks on our radar. Finally, Nigel joins in with all of the cues from the FNO space. Nigel, what are you tracking?
Well, if you look at the markets all of this week, if you bought the dip, you made money. Whether it's a 50, 100 or 200 point recovery from the low point of the day, that's what you've seen. And in fact, buying the dips has made you money. Now, today it's going to be a little different in the sense that today you have options expiry that does play out. So things will be a little bit more volatile in the final couple of hours of trade. What's driving the markets higher? Strong FI as well as DI flows. So those dips are being bought into. The large cap stocks are recovering from the low point of the day. And in fact, it appears these FIs and DIs, they are loading up as well. FIs in the FNO market, well, what did they do yesterday? Yesterday, they took a break. They were adding, index futures longs aggressively. Yesterday, they unwound close to around 10,000 contracts or thereabouts. So they continue to be net long on the index, but yesterday there was some unwinding. On the index option side, well, yesterday they bought more calls than puts, so close to around 6,000 call contracts were bought. In terms of writing, though, they wrote close to around 12,000 call contracts. Now, that's giving you a sense that we're not going to be flying away towards that 16,000 odd mark. That 15,750 mark that we spoke about yesterday as well, that could be a bit of a pit stop. Which were the options that were very, very active? Which were the strikes? You had the 15,450 put. Well, that was fairly active. Premium at around 15 rupees also. That's telling you there will be, that support at around that 15,400 odd mark. And on the upside, the 15,700 call. Well, the premium's only around 8 rupees. Someone's taking a bit of a punt to make some money out there. But it appears the smarter money in the last few days has been writing that strike, telling you that, in fact, the 15,750 mark, that'll be a bit of a hurdle. Remember, expiry today, that's options expiry. So we'll have a fairly volatile second half of trade. Back to you guys.
All right, Nigel, Nupur, Ekta, thank you guys very much for joining us and prepping us up for this trading session. With that, we'll get into our first short break in the show. But up next, Reliance Industries releases its annual report. All the highlights from that when we come back.